Chef, it's great to have you on.
Great to be here.
I'm so happy that you're my episode 100 because you always keep it 100.
No other way to be. It's more than one.
I met you at the Fit Expo, and I think there's something about your presence that definitely, aside from your 24-inch biceps, that commands attention. But can you share a little bit about your path to becoming a chef? Like, is this something that you always wanted to do as a kid?
Actually, no. I mean, I had no idea. I didn't know what chefing, culinary, and all those things. I grew up in a small town in Mississippi, very poor, farmer. My dad, my mother. It was eight of us all together. So my dad taught me to work at a very young age, probably like as soon as I could walk.
Mm.
My mother taught me the other aspects of life, of family, community, love, and all those different things. And I was kind of resistant, but I love the way it was in Mississippi, the hospitality state, when I used to go cooking with my mom. Well, my mom used to cook. I used to sneak and cook with her. My dad never knew. Back in those days, the men worked, the ladies cooked. It was that stereotypical type of Southern, mentality. My brothers, which was older, they did it a lot, but it was on a different scale. And my dad kind of had me like in this tough type of interior, not in a way where it was uh, stigmatized, but in a way where it was like, I need you to be the man that you need to be. Mm-hmm. And from my mother and from my dad, who didn't like me to cook, and my mom, who just cooked from the heart, I fell in love with cooking. It became my lifeline, but my bloodline, and eventually saved my life. And I helped using cooking to save so many more.
That's so powerful. I think food is such an incredible language, of love and compassion and nurturing. And, at the same time, physically, you are a commanding presence. You are one of the fittest people I've ever met. Did you ever think about becoming a professional athlete?
I am a professional athlete. I'm a chef.
Right? No kidding. And all that mixing, all that mixing.
Like, how you think I eat 24s? That's no, I actually had a football scholarship. I had a track scholarship, and an art scholarship when I was younger. But back in those times, like I said, my dad kind of had that part where the boys go to work, the girls go to school, and it was embedded in me, thinking like, I need to be this, I need to do this, I need to work hard, and I passed those opportunities up, and I joined the military. Later on in the military, of course, I got my degrees, I got all those different things and accolades, and honestly, they stayed in a box or in a bag or whatever. Even my trophies for the military, I've competed all over the world on an Olympic level. And I have hundreds and hundreds of medals, ribbons, and all those things. And I don't display them. I don't hang them out. They're tucked away. And it was just being there, whether I won or lost, or I was just there in the battle. And in the beginning, I did lose a lot because I didn't know anything. I didn't know what culinary meant. I didn't know all these different things. And then when I did, trying to find out and buying books, because we didn't have the internet and all this Google shit that we have. I'm sorry. We didn't have all that stuff. So you had to learn, and you had to fail, and you had to fail, and you had to fail. But that was part of the process.
We had to go check books out of the library, right?
Exactly.
That's where I read everything that I could get my hands on, including Julia Child's Mastering the Art of French Cooking.
Yeah, that's old school there.
Yeah, totally. So you really dove into the culinary world head first, and you landed in the military. What did the military teach you about cooking, and just about, I think, your approach to life, which is really, you live it, you breathe it, in everything that you do, that strength and presence?
what the military taught me about cooking. Back then, it didn't teach me anything. It was a different type of military. It was mass cooking. It wasn't what I thought it would be. You know, that hospitality was going. This is a different type of mindset now. And as different type of mindsets goes, when environmental, you have to be like a chameleon. You have to blend in. You have to match with your environment. You have to change the narrative. You have to adapt. So the military taught me that leadership part of that. And I, along with that part, adapted with them. But at the same time, I was changing their narrative with my cooking, with my styles, how I taught, how I led, how I did things. And from that, a whole different schematic was born, you know, so I was very appreciative of that, you know, and it gave me so many different opportunities. As I grew in the military grew also. And I had opportunities to go work for this person, and people see you and you do these things. I had no intentions of getting attention. I just had attention to detail and just do what I had to do, and I did my best at it.
I'm sure you had to just work with the resources that you had. No lobster tail or filet mignon.
No, none of that.
What was your favorite thing to make?
When? Where? In the military?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's a loaded question, you know, because the military, favorite thing to make, you know.
I mean, you got to fuel those troops up.
Yeah, you got to, I mean, but like you say, you had to use what you have.
Yeah.
Filet mignons, we have lobster tails, and sometimes, so we did do specialty days, you know, for instance, like the Taco Tuesday, make it special and put different things in it, you know, a soul food day or a steak day with little fake steaks, you know, that you had to marinate all night to kind of tenderize and put them up. But it was all about the care and attention that you put into it. And food is morale. You know, I mean, you know how they say the military leads off his stomach? It's a true statement.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's morale. It's fuel. I mean, you know, what branch of the military were you in?
Army.
Army. Yeah. I mean, I've had friends in the Army that were, you know, special forces, and they'd be out in the field for days and days, you know, sometimes weeks. So, I mean, being able to fuel their bodies and do it in a way just with the resources that you had, I'm sure you had to be really creative. How did that then lead you to the White House? Because I mean, that's quite a big step, I'm sure, in a way, and not something that many people can put on their resume.
No, it's true. You know, I'll be honest with you. It's not, like I said, not something you put on your resume. It's not something you can go and find in a paper. And like in everything in life and business, relationships and family, it's all about who you know a little bit. You know, probably about that's going to be 25% of it. And then that other 75% is just going to be that hard work. In my situation, the person I knew didn't want me there at all. Didn't want me there at all. He didn't want me to work for him. He didn't want me to he didn't want me to be at the White House. He didn't want me to do anything. And he was an amazing chef. I was a young kid. I had a different mindset. My mindset was to work, just to work. Sometimes in the military, and you go to different things, people want to feel special. I never wanted to feel special. I just wanted to do my job, and I did it well, and I did it hard and a lot. And sometimes it overshadows other people with their work ethics. So when that happened, he just thought I didn't fit in for no reason. Even though I worked the hardest, I did the hardest, he looked at me, and I didn't know this, and he said he didn't want me there. And a senior guy told me this later on because I had to try out for it for my first job. And when I finally got there, he didn't know that I knew what had happened. And one day, a really, really big event happened. We had some royalty over, and I had seen him do so many different things because he wouldn't teach me a lot. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm not here to kiss your butt. I'm going to just do a job. You know, I said, either you're going to show me, you're not going to show me, but you're going to do it in front of me. So I'm going to learn it. And that's the way I do. I'm one of those learn by seeing type of guys, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And long story short was, he was an award-winning chef. I mean, literally, he was a dessert guy. He did this, he did that. And he had this amazing cake that he did, was a puzzle cake that I was just fascinated with. He did it a million times. He's won medals with it. He's done it for the Queens and all these other people. And the one day he was getting ready to do it, he cut into the cake in front of everybody, and the cake fell apart. It takes 2 days to make this cake. I was a young kid and I looked and everybody was like, did the same thing. They're like, oh, then the main guys were like, they got really upset. It's true they say where food can start wars and end wars. That was one of the times where it could start a war.
Hmm.
So we had about 30, 40 minutes before service because the cakes take 2 days. He took it out of the refrigerator. For some reason, he did this cake a million times. Our senior looked at me and he called me Arm & Hammer, of course, because of my arm, and said, can you fix it? I immediately just respond, say, Roger. And I ran down to the mezzanine. I'm in the Pentagon at this time. Cakes that was frozen, did this, make ganache, whip, praline cream, hazel cream, all these different things. I cut a 90-degree angle in the cakes, put it together, put it in the blast chiller. And literally 5 minutes before servings or less, I cut the cake and it came out perfect. And he looked at him and he said, Chef, he just saved your career. And from there, that day, which was a Friday, he said, Monday, I want to take you somewhere. And he brought me over to the White House. I'm going to get you in. He said, everything else you have to do on your own. And knocked on the door, I got in, and the rest was history.
So you really had to prove yourself. I mean, nothing was handed to you on a platter.
And I'm glad it wasn't. And later on, the funny thing was he also took me to my first Olympics. And at my first Olympics, he actually told me that he didn't want me there. And I told him that I knew that. And he said, you knew this already? And I said, yeah, I knew this already. He said, so why did you work so hard? I said, because it wasn't about me. It was about us. It was a team. I'm from Mississippi. We support each other. I don't care about accolades. I care about success in a group, in a team, and doing all these things. And from that, to this very day, he's still my mentor and a great friend.
Do you think that philosophy is something that, like, this whole idea of people wanting to put themselves first and be in the spotlight, is something that you see as a problem?
Yes and no. I was before I did all this, I didn't have social media. One day I had to pop up and have social media. We weren't allowed to have social media in a lot of perspectives where I worked at. And you need social media to grow. Sometimes people can use social media for the best in the world, and sometimes they use it for evil, meaning that they want to be viral, they want to do something, and sometimes, and unfortunately, they can attack other people who do it just to get that recognition, to get a laugh, to get those views, to get those followers. And at the same time, is they don't realize with this day and age, from pandemic to pre and post and all these other different things, mental health is at its worst. You got to think about that, especially for the kids, with the bullying, with this stuff, and not even kids, but just everybody in general. It's very hard to deal with that. And it's always like you have to tiptoe. I've been attacked on social media a million times. I can save a million kids or jump out of a burning building with kittens in my hands, and people attack me anyway because they'll say, you think you're better than us. And it's just the way it is, because if you see somebody different and you're envious of them inside, internally, you know that they're going to attack you. And I'm okay with being different. I can take it. I can take all the attacks in the world because I've been attacked so much that it doesn't matter to me. Long as you're not threatening my kids, my family on that part of it, or coming around me, because it's just not my nature. But here on social media, you have to realize I can take a bullet for each and every person that I continue to do. So I tell everybody, you're a representation of what you want to be represented as. That'll get different people. It may get you viral videos and have millions of followers, but what do you bring with that? What's your legacy? What's your give back? Are you just one of those takers? And it's a lot of people that's just those takers.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you have to understand what you stand for, regardless of how many followers or how many likes or how many views you get. Are you actually living your purpose and sharing that with the world?
And that's the first thing I noticed about you, your energy, your purpose, who you are, and everything that you do. It was just an instant relationship. It's like, she's amazing, which you are.
The feeling is very, very mutual. So you've got so many things going on right now in your career. I wonder sometimes when you sleep, but you've got your meal prep, you've got, shows that you're part of, you've got your new book. Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about your book, Call Me Chef, Damn It.
Call me chef, damn it.
Can you talk a little bit about why you wrote the book and what people will learn about you in the book?
So Call Me Chef, Damn It is actually one of the things that happened when I was as a up and coming young chef, trying to be and not being involved or accepted in a community of chefs. It's not a cookbook. It just I told people what they needed to hear, not what they wanted to hear. And it went very transparent about all my good, my bad, my difference, my failures, my successes, from toxic leadership to 9/11, being involved in 9/11 when the plane hit in the Pentagon to, just people attacking me, to all these different things. I let people know, and I was very transparent about all those different things. And from that, it went number one for dealing with toxic leadership, dealing with suicide ideation, dealing with PTSD, learning from toxic leadership development, so many different things that came from, which I didn't know it would go that route. Now I'm doing a cookbook, which is going to be out the following year. And I actually changed the demographics of it. And I wanted to be like you, which you appreciate. I want to be on the health and fitness side universally, and use food what it was meant to be, as holistic medication, family, gathering, love, relationships, all those different things. I want people to go back to appreciating food for what it is and know the properties of it on how to use it, whether you're doing it for yourself, for your health, for different things. Food is amazing. Herbs, vegetables, all those different things.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I love that, you stand for so many social issues that people oftentimes are not aware of. And I love your suicide prevention initiative and awareness, your push-up challenge. I remember I challenged you to push-ups. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I had a momentary lapse of any sort of intelligence at that point. Me challenge you to push-ups. But we had a lot of fun. We got everybody on the floor doing 22 push-ups, right? Why 22?
22 vets commit suicide a day. And I caveat that with, just the kids, again, about bullying and the mental capacity in this world where, suicide between ages 11 and 27, actually 11 and 32 is number 2 in deaths in this country, number 10 on the radar in this country in its entirety. And, that's hard. I stand for that. I have a lot of causes. I'm actually the spokesperson for the National Cancer Society, which is going to kick off in November for Cancer Awareness Month. So my causes are deep. I tell people, don't make something your cause when it happens to you or your family or something. I don't care if it's from pets to whatever you believe in. Don't say this person has something and now all of a sudden it's the most important thing in the world. You have to emphasize to each and every person's needs and wants, whether it be autism, whether it be something very minute, because you never know what may happen and who it may affect, especially if
I think that a lot of the time when it hits us hard, obviously you being a military veteran, that this resonates very deeply for you. I think for me, the reason health is so important, I lost my mom and both grandmothers to stroke. And I think, creating awareness for women around heart disease and how they can protect their heart and why health is so important to that. Also going through menopause, we become at a much higher risk after, menopause than we ever have. So it's like kind of just giving perspective. But then when you have that passion, because it's something that's hit you deeply, I think you use your voice that much more effectively,
It's true. It's much more organic. And people want you to be organic. They want you to be true. They don't want you to be rehearsed. I hate that. I do a lot of speaking. And like I said, again, I want someone to hear me and hear what I'm saying, not to get applauses. I want them to go and know that they're worth it, their value, no matter, especially, like I said, I'm going tomorrow in Chicago to speak to about 200 chefs. from master chefs to chefs to young chefs. I was just in Vegas at the convention where I got inducted with the AA, and I spoke, and they asked me to come back the next year. And it was so refreshing because I was supposed to cook. And I was like, you know what? I'm not cooking for you guys. I'm going to tell you something. I told a story, and it was just a packed audience, and everyone came up and just said, thank you. We need.
Yeah, I think connecting from the heart is just as important as connecting from the stomach.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about your meal prep adventures?
Meal prep adventures are meal prep adventures. I'm actually doing it. I have a meal prep, the chow, and it's going great. And I have some other things going on with the military as far as food service and military, on a bigger scale, a much bigger scale. So
why did you create Chow?
Because I'll be honest with you, a lot of guys should send me food all the time, and I travel all the time, and it's kind of like bodybuilding. They say, well, I mean broccoli, I mean chicken, and I mean rice. Broccoli, chicken, and rice, boiled, steamed, and whatever. Yeah, it's like I hated that, and I'm like, why can't I have something that's going to be extremely delicious and tasteful, but also healthy at the same time? And I know how to do it. I mean, I'm a chef. I know those, and you know this, all those herbs and vegetables from the ground that doesn't have sodium, all those flavor profiles for it. They're amazing. If once you bind those together, they just make so much more appetizing to enjoy your food.
Yeah, I did that fitness competition, and I think one of the hardest things for me was just being limited on what I could eat. But then I just took those things and tried to make them the best. And some of those dishes that I created, I actually still make, even though I can eat anything I want now. It's like, I still really enjoy them, and I think at the end of the day, we have an awesome opportunity to shed a better light on what healthy and nutritious means, and merging that with gourmet, because so many people have in their heads that to eat well for your body means to sacrifice flavor, right?
True.
Yeah.
True. You don't have to do that. It's just that everybody tries to make you. I mean, it's a marketing, it's a strategic move how people try to make you do that. If you say something long enough and you get enough people to say it, they'll follow you. And that's what people do, follow.
Yeah. Yeah. We get to be groundbreakers. And you have a show coming up. Can you share anything with us about it?
Actually, I have 3 shows coming up. I have
one. You underachiever, you.
I am. One's actually coming out next, November, and I'll say it's with the network starts with a D.
Okay.
And then I have another one that's going to come out Super Bowl weekend. Super Bowl weekend is going to come out, and it's a huge show and with some huge people on it, to include myself. And I'm excited about this one because it's such an inspiration, and it talks about so many different things that are relevant. And it's cooking, but it has a different twist in each and everything. Demographically, it's binding. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a little bit rough sometimes, right? But it's rough with caring and understanding. Because sometimes it takes that tough love and understanding to get through to people, but then you don't use it to break them down, you use it to build them up. And each person is built up. So it's a great show. I'm doing that.
I'm looking forward to that. I think that there is, and this is just my personal opinion, there's not enough of that tough love. There's a lot of kind of tiptoeing around issues, and like reconfiguring how things look in order to not make people feel bad. But at the end of the day, it's like a child. If they're doing something wrong, you got to slap them on the hand to wake them up a little bit, and it's for their own good. It's not just to shame them or to make them feel bad. It's just, I'm not going to get myself in trouble. I'll hold back my comment, but I think where I'm going with this. Like your health and your body, you get one, right? And if you don't take care of it, you're going to pay for it later in medication. So you get to make the choice now.
No, I 100% agree. And that was one of the things. I'm doing a show and they were like, "Ooh, chef, you're a little, you're a little aggressive and rough on her." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, I was just telling her husband the same thing. And now you're saying I can't be that." I said, "No, no, I am, this is who I am real life. If this is it, I'm telling her the exact same way I'm telling him. I'm telling him, I mean, because I'll make the wife cry, and I'm making the husband cry. I'm like, he's crying, she's crying, so they match. I don't care."
Well,
They can come together.
they're feeling it. And again, you're doing it from a place of love for their own good. It's not because you're trying to shame them or make them feel bad.
Yeah, and it wasn't shaming. It was just they're realizing the truth. A
Yeah.
lot of the truth is coming out. And the truth, sometimes the truth hurts, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? Is your family healthy?
Is my family healthy?
Yeah. Like, do they think about health the way you do?
They,
Being from Mississippi?
they do think about health the way I do. I mean, I don't have a lot left. My mother and father passed in the last 3 years. My other sisters and brother, they're healthy. One of the things about Mississippi is, it was the unhealthiest state. It is the unhealthiest state because of all of the fried foods, and you think about the South and it's deep down. And I actually went there recently, 2.5 months ago, and I received, I donate all proceeds to my book to the new 899 number, and also to the kids, for, and then the mayor came and he gave me the key to the city. And I talked about, that's one of the reasons, like I said, that's one of the reasons I'm doing a new book. I'm doing a cookbook on a healthy aspect. I wanted to be healthy. Some things I'll have fancy and whatnot, but I wanted to concentrate on that part of it. Because it's like you said, you can have healthy food and it can taste delicious and look amazing.
Yeah. And with that, you empowering people to take kind of, maybe the food that they know and they love and make it a little bit better, a little bit more healthy. It's not like you can't have soul food. It's not like, but maybe you're air frying it instead. Maybe maybe you're adding more vegetables and a little less fatty meat. Like,
of course,
I think we can create, a concession for people. How do you eat? Like, can you just share a little bit? Like, what does a day of food for Chef look like? Because you are a strong, muscular guy. Like, you didn't get that way with a pill.
No, I didn't. There's no magic pill. But I eat a lot. And I eat a lot. I eat often. I'm hungry right now. Once I get off phone with you, I'm going to eat. Right? So I have some hormone-free pound of turkey every time I open the refrigerator and put it on, some rye bread with a little mustard. And I use some a little one American cheese slice to give me that little taste for it. I don't use mayo. I don't use ketchup or any of that stuff, but it's good to me. That's what I like. I have a whole chicken in the refrigerator. I ate one today, and I have another one that I'll eat later on tonight. But I eat whatever I want to eat. But if I eat something that's not in that standard, I know I got to pay for it. It's just like in the bank. Like this is what I have to pay for. If I don't eat sweets like that, but sometimes I do like the better things. So I'll have some coffee and I'll put a little sugar and a little cream inside of it, because that's my guilty pleasure on that part. I get rid of the sodium. I replace it with a lot of herbs. I love garlic. I love those grilled onions, charred. I love that charred taste that can kind of compensate for that. Not saying I don't use sodium, but I'll use this much to go along with it. So it gives my mindset where I can change the narrative of it. And besides, I'm also an endurance trainer. That's how I do the 2,000 plus 2 push-ups a day. But at that same time, I burn calories all the time, just like at now.
You said 2,000 plus 200 push-ups every day.
Except for Saturday and Sunday now. Saturday and Sunday now, just because I have to refuel a lot.
Yeah,
so I'm still doing it.
I mean, just your push-ups, not to mention, like, I'm sure you have a whole weight training program that you do on top of that. Do you think that fitness is as important as food? Are they equally?
You know what?
You're over both?
Absolutely. Not only, because equally important as food, but mentally, emotionally, yes. It's your release. Everybody needs to release. Fitness, if you never tried, I had guys, when they see me, they say, Chef, I started doing push-ups because of you. I love it now. I started working out because of you. Chef, I lost 100 pounds because of you. Chef, I did this, so forth. They see it's so inspiring because I don't stigmatize between big people, little people, small people, tall, short. It's every person. I'm talking to you. I don't care if you're 500 pounds or you're 250 pounds of solid muscle. It doesn't matter to me. I'm coming for you. Matter of fact, I don't even look at the people that has the muscle. I want the person that thinks that's shy and just kind of think that everybody's looking at him or her. I want you to come out. Those are people that I'm going to talk to. Those are the ones that are the most important to me.
You know, you made a huge impact on my son. He met you when he was 14, and you should see him now. He's buff, like he's in some serious shape right now. But I think being able to give people that motivation of being strong, it's not just about the aesthetic of what it looks like. It's about being strong so that you're strong here, you know, and I believe mentally, you know, especially after what we've been through over the last few years, you know, you need that fortitude that comes from, you know, your lifestyle and your habits. And that's really where I believe that you're going to make the biggest impact on people. We're kind of running a little bit low on time. So first of all, I want to thank you because you gave me this when we met, and it says, you can do anything.
You got the big one, I have the small one.
And I keep this on my desk, Chef. It sits right there in front of me. And I think I'm a pretty like motivated person, but when I look at this, I'm like, I better go get my butt to the gym. It's like you're talking to me. So I just know that sits here. But I would love to know if you had one last meal, okay, and it could be made by anybody, who would make it and what would it be? Like, what's your love language when it comes to food?
Mine would be probably, well, not probably, I know what it would be. It would be some fresh picked collard greens from a garden, and it would actually have some fat back in it. Old time, the white ones you get out of the store, you put inside of it, you get it.
Render that down.
And rendered it down, and it just with some seasonings, slow cooked for hours and hours at a time, where it's so aromatic, and some skillet fried cornbread, you know, where you use some of that fat to go inside of it, and you put it right inside and just raises up, and it just does all the cracks in it. And you have the green juice that you pour over the cornbread and let it soak inside of it. And then I would have some the pinto beans with maybe some fried, and go back to my roots, fried catfish. And that would be my love language comfort zone, because that's what my mom used to make when I was a kid. And that made me have such an amazing feeling just to be there. That was what it was all about. It was just so comfortable, and I've eaten all over the world like you have. I've had some Michelin and 5 stars, but it's things that have those memories and emotions to you. They're just lifelong. They take you back, and that's what we do in our food. We put a love language in it, no matter what. It has a memory to it, where you say, no matter how pretty it looks, but you know the person behind it, they put the time, the love and emotion into this.
Yeah. I just went back with you. I went back to your mom making you that meal at the table in Mississippi. You brought us there. So Chef, thank you. It's been such a pleasure having you on, and you do keep it 100. Just keep shining and inspiring. And seriously, I love you from the bottom of my heart. Like, as a brother, you are my brother.
You are my sister, my bigger sister.
Yeah, check out those guns. Come on, Chef.
I got it, right? Such a pleasure. I'm gonna see you at the next show. I can't wait.
Yes, we're on for the next show in January at the Fit Expo.
Yep, coming up. Wow, around the corner.
I'll be there. I can't wait to see you on your show in November too. So keep us posted.
I will.
Okay.